everyone. My name is Zeta Ceti. This is Green Rush Revolution. We are here live at MJUnpacked 2024 in Atlantic City, New Jersey. I'm here with Sephida, Artis, and Mike Intaglioti of HPI Canna, right, out of New York. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Yeah,
How you enjoying the show so far?
Yeah.
Yes,
Awesome,
absolutely.
awesome. So tell me about HPI Canna, what you guys are doing in the space.
Well, HPI Canna is a woman-owned, woman-led processor, manufacturer, and also cultivation, and has a 434-acre farm in Poughkeepsie, New York, 20% of New York State's market share, and about 25 brands under our umbrella. So we're pretty big, and it's been really exciting, honestly, to just be able to do what we do as a company in New York's industry. So.
That's awesome. Yeah, New York is definitely on the spotlight right now.
Yeah.
That's for certain.
True, for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah, and so I got so many questions for you guys. I mean, really, so let's talk about the journey, right? I mean, it's not like, I think you just mentioned that you went from hemp into the space. Tell our audience a little bit about that. What was that journey like?
Yes, so started out in the hemp space and was one of the hemp growers that was awarded a conditional license to grow cannabis. So a lot of ups and downs, a lot of learning curves, but it definitely, I feel, in the beginning, it prepared HPI for where we are now. And it was a lot of things that we had to learn and grow along with the industry. So I felt that it was a great opportunity for us to get in the early start of the market and then be able to become established by being able to also share with others what those experiences were and how we were able to transition into that space.
Right, and Mike, you were part of this entire journey too as well? Or?
Yeah, so I'm on the brand side. I'm one of the partners on Dank by Definition, which is our main brand out of HPI.
Cool. That's cool.
So yeah, we try to embody everything that's dank. So we kind of grew from, first there were 4 stores, then there were 10 stores, then 30, and now we're at around 100 stores open. Wow. So, and we're at around 91% market penetration right now. So just trying to get used to that. It's been a lot of scaling up,
yes.
And getting used to going from just servicing 4 stores spread between all of New York. So one day I'd be up in Binghamton, one day I'd be down in the city.
Nice.
There's a lot of going back and forth and traveling, but as we grew, we started to figure out, little methods and systems to put in place and be a little bit more efficient and really help everybody and spread cannabis through New York,
awesome.
The right way.
So you guys got 100 stores open right now in New York, is that what you said?
Yeah, I think it's 102 now.
Yeah, 102, I think, as of maybe a few days ago, and more are opening as the weeks go on, yes.
That's incredible. That's incredible growth, actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's 4 stores a week now are opening, something
Average,
like that.
Yeah. Average.
And we're not talking about state regulated cannabis. Are we talking about state regulated licensed cannabis stores?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Well, it started, there was maybe a 3-month span where it was 10 stores and they had an injunction and nobody was opening.
Yeah.
And it was 3 months of just radio silence. And then out of nowhere, once the injunction lifted, they just started dropping licenses like crazy. So it's just been a dash to try to fill in the gaps as we go. Right.
So I'd imagine logistically or supply chain logistics, it's really trying to fulfill that and meet those demands in the market.
Yes, it forces you to scale incredibly fast. So all the things that you had before that accommodated for a smaller market, now you have to catapult your business into keeping up with that growth all the way around. So you really understand just the kind of pressure that the supply chain has to make sure that retail stores are supplied and also to make sure that brands are represented as well.
It's sort of like a boomerang effect. First you didn't have enough, now you have to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's been a lot of pivoting. A lot of trying to figure out where we're located and then pivot from that position, because if you can't pivot, then you can't really adapt with how fast the market is just growing.
Speaking of markets, I know that they had a big issue with the unregulated market. I mean, how's that impacted your guys' business, or at all? Has it impacted at all?
It does impact the business, because you think about all of those consumers that are going into smoke shops that don't really understand that that's not a dispensary, especially with some of them that have language and signage that says dispensary, but they're not a state licensed licensed dispensary with tested products. So that disconnect there, just with the consumer not knowing, that does impact the legal stores, because it's like, where's the business going? If they're not coming here, they're going somewhere. So it's trying to figure out how to drive that business over to legal stores, and therefore like educate the public on the importance of going to a licensed store and why that should be where they should be shopping.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see this all across the United States too. I mean, it all really started in California, right?
Yeah.
New York, when it first rolled out, it reminded me a lot of early days under Prop 215 in Los Angeles.
Yes.
Like where you had a bunch of these different stores popping up, and really like, you know, I mean, they're just getting fines. Right? They're getting shut down. They're popping right back up.
Right.
Boom, boom, boom. It's just constantly happening. And for folks like you guys who are like, you know, doing this legitimately, and you know, and have to pay taxes and have to do all these different things, it's a really big strain on your business and watch, to a certain degree.
It could be very difficult. I think that what hurts the most is that the consumer base in the New York market, and I'm sure a lot of markets, is a lot older and uneducated, and it hurts the education on cannabis significantly, because if you get one bad experience from like a smoke shop product that's not lab tested, you're never going to touch cannabis again.
Right.
And like, if you look at it from the perspective that all these gray market shops are real, then you think that it ruins the legitimacy of the actual licensed shops, if that makes sense.
It actually makes complete sense, Mike, and I appreciate you bringing that up. And you see that education's critical.
Absolutely.
Like it's always been about education.
Yes.
Ever since the beginning, forefront, the pioneers were just trying to educate on how that cannabis is actually a therapeutic medicine.
Yes.
Yep.
Right?
Yes.
Yep.
And then we move into now where we have sort of like parallel industries between hemp and cannabis, where we're seeing in states where they're just sort of advertising as adult use cannabis, but it's really just hemp-derived products.
Yeah.
Right? But the public doesn't know the difference.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I even get calls where it's like, hey, I see this dispensary opening. I'm like, it's not a state regulated dispensary.
Yes.
Yep.
So and it's getting them the to be able to identify, and even seeing how some of them have actually copied what the emblem, this is a state licensed dispensary, and have put in like a poster up that says that it is when it's really not. So it's a lot of education that's definitely going to be needed, but I think that as more legal stores open, I think that's going to combat the illicit stores, and then we can continue to drive that education so the consumer understands that this is a legal dispensary, these products are safe, they're tested, and that's where you want to go, opposed to something where you're putting yourself at risk of getting something that can make you sick.
Right. So coming back to HPI Canna real quick, what do you guys' future plans? I mean, you just guys going to stay in the state of New York? You guys plan on moving to other states? Tell us a little bit about that.
Sophia, do you have any notes?
We definitely are interested in going into other states. We definitely want to continue to make our mark in New York, but we do have future goals for going into other markets. But we want to be smart. We want to understand the markets that we're going into, but to absolutely become like a standard and a staple in New York, and be a part of the solution to what that looks like, so that we can then take what we are doing in New York and duplicate it in other states.
Right. And I wanted to dig down a little bit further into that too as well, in terms of like the products. It's just products, right, that you guys are producing and getting into the retailers in the state of New York, not doing retail.
Yeah.
No, we're not retail.
Okay, so
we have about 25 brands under our umbrella, which growing really rapidly, and we are in practically every dispensary. There isn't a dispensary that we don't have our products in.
Good job. And another thing I was, specifically from the realm of the supply chain that you guys are in, because a lot of folks want to come into that part of the space. Are you guys doing any New York branded products?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
We have, of course, Dake is our in-house brand. That's a New York-based brand. We have Chef for Hire, which is actually a legacy operator that was able to come into the legal space. We have 40 Tons, which is a social impact brand that focuses on social justice. We have Her Highness. So we have several different brands that are definitely New York based that we're working with. So we are open to the local New York brands, craft type of brands, and as well as larger brands that we call fan favorites that people are used to, that we're bringing into the market as well.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think that's really important, because look, you have brands like Humble, right? Once we actually get to a point where things open up, possibly in April there may be a rescheduling and whatever. I just think this is inevitable. And what we're going to see is a lot of, sort of like, cross-pollination of these different, we're not going to have the borders anymore.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And not even borders around the country. So what's going to be very, very important, which is your job, is brands.
Yeah.
And you have brands like Humble. Humble will always, or Northern California will always command a higher price than other products across the country. So I always look at like things like, New York being like, okay, New York stamped sort of, of approval kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%.
And I was just wondering if you guys are focused on that at all.
Yeah, I mean, Dank by definition is like totally a New York-born brand. I was born and raised in New York, and my partners were born and raised in New York. We've just been kind of grinding it out and building it from the ground up. We started with outdoor flower because that's what the regulations were allowing, and we've just slowly built up and built a name for ourselves. We're happy to say that we're actually in a kind of like a tie for first place as one of the biggest brands in the state right now. And it's just been really a learning experience of growing a brand from like the ground, really the ground up. So it's been kind of total startup mode, and now we're trying to make the transition into a little bit more of like organized.
Sounds like more than startup mode. It sounds like accelerated mode.
Oh yeah, it's been super accelerated.
Are you guys raising capital right now for any of your projects, or are you finished your capital raise?
We're open to it. We're open to it. We're very grassroots right now.
Okay, gotcha.
Boots on the ground in the stores, and just going to meet everybody. Out in the field, I probably hit maybe 10 to 15 stores a week myself, and then we have some representatives that hit the other stores, pick up the slack where I can't make it, and then some of the other partners go and reach out to the stores, and they go themselves. And it's just been kind of boots on the ground, meet everybody, put faces to names, and then start to build relationships.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you mentioned a significant amount of acres of cultivation. Is that all like outdoor? Is it greenhouse? Is it indoor? Like what's going on?
Right now it is all outdoor that we've been cultivating, but as things are changing in the New York market, we do anticipate also doing indoor.
Doing indoor too. And do you guys like separate that into like where sort of like these other brands come in and grow their own plats, or is it just one? You're just growing for everybody?
So we do want to be able to get to a point where we can like work that way with brands, so that it's like if they have something specific and unique, we want them to be able to like really curate that and be able to introduce it into the market. So we're definitely open with doing like these like special projects and partnerships, joint venture type of deals with some of the brands as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us on this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
HPI Canna guys are making waves in New York. Amazing folks over here. Check them out. My name is Zeta. This is Green Rush Revolution. Thank you guys so much.